Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave. I would like to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Good morning, Michael Gene Fleming, and everybody else that's going to be joining us in the chat. Let me know if this view of my video is the normal way or if it's changed. I cannot tell if it's changed back to the regular or if it did that weird thing yesterday that it did. So let me know in the chat if it's back to normal. So we're going to be talking about number 103, and that will be Hawk today. General Hawk, that is, version 2. So we're up to 103 videos. And so I first want to get a little bit of old news out of the way. I wanted to show off my vintage Ripper figure with his backpack and all that gear that I had forgot that he had all this gear yesterday. I didn't have the figure, so I forgot that he had everything. So he does, in fact, have the jaws of life like that. They're more like a drilling type tool. And then he had his little bladed gun there, similar to the other one. And then he had this cool like hydraulic backpack that went on his back. And you can tell that he's definitely got the lighter jeans and he's got the cut shirt that we were talking about. But overall, the classified version was pretty close to this. Just a couple little things here and there that were, I guess, classified updates, which is fine. I like it when they do updates of stuff. So I wanted to give a little bit of a preview of that figure since we did that video yesterday and I forgot to show the vintage figure of that. So let's get into Hawk. First, we're going to go to Dan Klingsmith's series of books again. This is volume number 10, Creating G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero by Dan Klingsmith. Right? Let's see. Hawk. Find him. There he is. There's a lot of different ideations there of Hawk for General Hawk. Good morning, Lorenzo M. Lopez Guerrero. You're a new person in the chat. Holy Yapping Yapperton. Okay. Thank you for joining us in the chat, Lorenzo. We appreciate it. Hopefully you're subscribed and hit the notifications and you share and you do all that fun stuff. So there's some really nice versions of Hawk in those ideations there. I like that blue and white one. There's a cool darker brown with the green. I like the General Patton one that's kind of right there. That looks like General Patton. But they ended up giving him that bomber jacket with the camouflage jean pants, fatigues, and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty iconic. A lot of people do like that. There are a lot of other ideations on here, on that page there, that you can kind of see him in his dress uniform and different outfits, stuff like that. It's a little hard to see from this angle and the lighting. But I think this is a really cool Hawk. When I saw this Hawk, I was like, well, didn't they already do Hawk? And then I realized, okay, so they're doing multiple versions of characters because they did Snake Eyes, they did Cobra Commander, and they were doing, I think they did a second Roadblock, and then they did like the beige versions of Clutch and Grunt. And then they did a version of Grand Slam, the Silver Grand Slam. So they had been doing different variations and redecoing, but this was really one of the first ones where it was a completely new mold all the ways from the original Hawk to this, other than Snake Eyes and Roadblock. Let's see. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is, Lorenzo. Sorry. So let's get into Hawk. It says alternate names, NA, released 1986, designed by Ron Rudat. So Ron Rudat designed most of the figures from 1982 to 1987 and most of the vehicle drivers. Okay. And Hawk is no difference there. Let's see what Dan had to say about Hawk. With a new and updated look from the earlier release in 1982, Hawk had moved up to become a commander of the Joe team. When designing Hawk, Ron used the name dress uniform as the working title and did 2 different uniforms for him. Because he was I think he was a colonel Hawk, and now I think he's a general. So the earlier version 2, he was a colonel, and they've promoted him to general and so he's now over the Joe team. In the comics, it said that he was promoted because of Admiral Ledger died or something like that. One of the other commanders died, and they promoted Hawk to be the leader of the Joe team in that sense. So then we have his vintage package. Let's see. Oh, there it is right there. His vintage package there. And then his first comic appearance was G.I. Joe issue 1 as a colonel, and then he appeared later in the 40s after he got promoted as version 2 Hawk. And then, of course, he appeared. I don't recall him being used at all in the first season or the first 2 miniseries. Duke, the field sergeant, was really in charge of G.I. Joe for the first 2 Sunbow animated miniseries and the first season of the Sunbow animated series. I don't recall Hawk being used at all in any of those. But when they did season 2, they did the miniseries Arise, Serpentor Arise. Hawk then appears in version 2 garb, and he's in season 2 of the Sunbow animated series. So that's another one of those kind of like displacements that I talk about once in a great while, where you can look at the lore and there's like a bit of a gap or a bit of a holding position where you're like, wait a minute, where's the OG-13? So we got some of the OG-13 obviously in that first Sunbow miniseries. We got Scarlet, we got Snake Eyes, we got Stalker, right? And then we might have gotten like characters like Steeler, Clutch, and then later we might have got characters like Short Fuse and Flash and things like that. But we didn't get Hawk for some odd reason, and I don't know why that is. So it was interesting. They jumped right to Duke, when they did Duke in '84 as the new commander. I guess they didn't want to be redundant or whatever. And he's a sergeant. He was the field commander of the Joe team at that point. So yeah, that's one of those weird things in the continuity that you don't see a character like that. And then it happens later on as well in animation with other characters where there's a gap where we don't see certain characters. It happens after the G.I. Joe movie. There's a gap between that movie and Operation Dragonfire, where they skip a couple years of characters and we never get to see some of these characters. Um, God bless me. Good morning, Clement. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. So then we have the vintage figure, a vintage Hawk. Let's get all of his gear out of here. We'll put him together and we'll see what he looks like. All right, so this is one of those figures that when I saw it, I said, wow, that looks really cool. He kind of looks like Top Gun, or he looks like I said, a little bit like General Patton or whatever. He's got that bomber jacket and those camouflage pants. He's got dark brown hair, whereas the vintage one had blonde hair. This one's got brown hair. So I guess he's a little bit further down the lineage of Hawk and his age and so on. So let's see. Then we have his backpack. We'll put that on him. There's backpack. There. 86, when this Hawk came out, he was a really cool figure amongst a bunch of really cool figures. This is one of the bigger years for G.I. Joe, sales-wise and fan interaction-wise. The team Hasbro were really pushing it on all levels with this year, 86, when this came out. And like I said, we got another Roadblock this year. We got a lot of new cool figures like Lifeline, Mainframe, Dial Tone, Leatherneck, Wetsuit, Lowlight. A lot of really cool figures. And then he's got his revolver. This looks like it's a weapons accessory version because it's blue. So whenever you get the accessories and they're weird colors like that, that means they came from an accessory pack. So that means I don't have the original, his original revolver there. I have the bluish one. I don't know if you can tell if that's blue or not, but it is. So there's your vintage Hawk. I shouldn't say, well, yeah, vintage version 2 Hawk, I should say instead. He looks really good. He's strong. He's a sturdy one. There's a little bit of wear on the paint on the hair, but other than that, I think he looks pretty good. What do you guys think? All right, so we'll put him over here for now. See if we can. Yep, he's standing. There he is. So now we're going to get into the classified Hawk. So like I said, 103. You can see him yelling some commands there. He looks really in a leadership mode in that particular piece of art there. You love my my Godzilla? That's the one that's over there. That's the Shogun Godzilla. I have both the vintage Godzilla Shogun from the 70s, and I have a new one that Super 7 put out about 7 or 8 years ago. So I have both of those. So thanks, Clement. I appreciate that. And then Lego Star Wars Kid. 86 General Hawk is the only O-ring I still have. Oh, that's a shame. Lego Star Wars Kid. There's some really good stuff in the vintage line, but Hawk's a really good one to have. So congratulations on that. Hopefully someday you'll get some more O-rings from the 80s. You have my Transformers Combiner set, Clement. That's cool. There's a bunch of Transformer combiner sets. There's like 4, and I'm hoping we're going to get another one. And one of those, the one that I'm hoping we get in the future, actually has to do with Hawk, because it's supposed to be a Mobat that changes into Optimus Prime, and it's supposed to include a Hawk version 2 figure with it. So if they do that, that'll be really cool. I look forward to that. So then let's see, we have um, the Target artwork with the QR code to Nowhere again. And then we have the render on the back with all of his accessories. We got a couple of call outs on there, like the goggles and that little tattoo, that little patch that's on his bomber jacket on there. So it looks like he comes with quite a lot of stuff, and they aged him up a bit because it looks like there's some gray in his hair and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. And then let's see. Lego Star Wars kit. I'm good. O-ring were cool back in the day. I sold all of mine, but I'm into classified now. Oh, okay. Well, collect the way that you want. That's fine, Lego Star Wars kid. I still enjoy some of my O-rings. I know there's still a lot of people that do love the O-rings, so it's fine. You collect the way you collect. So let's look at his renders, see what the renders have to say on Hawk. We have leader, the 5 stars, the leader, and then we have the one with all the bullets. Light weapons, we have light weapons. Then we have that little cannon, which I don't think I have that little cannon. And then we have the chess piece. So I'm guessing strategy is the horse chess piece, and then the little cannon. I'm guessing. Oh, we do artillery. We do have the cannon. So there you go. So that's all the render. The designations for Hawk. There. Those, and then we have his photography artwork from Shooting the Galaxy Matte. We have that artwork, the side artwork. We have the cross sell of the weapons again, and then that's a really cool photo. Has the G.I. Joe headquarters back there, but don't expect the G.I. Joe headquarters to come out. It's probably not going to come out unless they do like sections, like playset sections that come with versions of characters. Like you do one section with this, one section with that, one section. They could probably do it in like 5 parts if they really wanted, or maybe 6 parts, and have a build a headquarters. I wonder if they would do something like that. They are doing the fortifications and things like that, and they're doing the bivouac. So they are doing play sets. But I wonder if they would do a build a headquarters. That would be something. I think that would be really cool if they could do it. So it says General Clayton Hawk Abernathy, his full name. So then you have, it looks like, I don't know what that is back there. It looks like a stun. There's a stun back there. And then you get Hawk version 3, I think. Hawk with the jetpack up there in the top there. I'm not sure if that's Hawk up there. Looks kind of like Hawk. And then you have Sergeant Slaughter with the triple T back there. That's Sergeant Slaughter. What else is on here? That's all I can see on there. You can see he's ready for action. He's out there commanding the troops. Looks really good, I've got to say. The photography, Matt, Shooting the Galaxy, they do a great job with the figure photography on these figures. I really enjoy them. It's one of my favorite parts of this new packaging. I wish we could go back to the this packaging, because this is my favorite version of all the packaging that they did, because it does everything. It has the artwork, it has the render, has all the specifications, it has the QR code, which doesn't really go anywhere, and it has the photography. It's my favorite version of all the packaging. If we could go back to this, I'd be happy. But let's get him out of here. Let's see. So we've got Hawk there, and then we have his weapons crate number 103. 103, 103, and then Clayton Abernathy Hawk there, and the Stars and Stripes. So we'll put that over there. Put the box down here. There. So let's see this. Again, this is the first time that we're opening this figure. We've opened all the figures and vehicles and toys and accessories from 00 Snake Eyes all the ways up to now 103. We've done 13 vintage package figures. And we'll be doing another one of those very shortly. And so there you go. And we will be doing, we'll start doing the Legacy figures, 60th anniversary and Legacy with 110. Once we get to 110, we'll start with Legacy and the 60th anniversary. So there's your Hawk version 2, and there's the artwork, package artwork. And we'll put that over there. And just out of the gate, I think it's very, very close to the vintage one. Let's see, Lego Star Wars Kid, but we want to see the figures. The figures, Dave. What are you talking about, Lego Star Wars Kid? You want to see the figures? What are you talking about? Clement, hello, Clement. Dave, are you going to come to South Africa Comic-Con Cape Town? Probably not. Unfortunately, I don't travel to South Africa. I've never been to South Africa, so probably not, Clement. I would love to, but unfortunately, no, I can't. Michael G. Fleming, I have a site preference for window boxes, but this style is still good. Also, the Joe team definitely did the best packaging work for all of the Hasbro's lines during the plastic-free era. Yeah. Oh, so that's what you're talking about, Lego Star Wars Kid. You want to see the figures? I see. I see. Yeah, Michael Gene Fleming. I completely understand what you're talking about there. It's a mixed situation. You know, there's some people that want to see the figure to make sure they're not getting ripped off or what have you. I pre-order most of my stuff, so I'm not that worried about it. But I do understand where people are coming from. They want to see the figure in the package, in the clamshell, whatever you want to see, whatever you talking about when it comes to looking at it like that. So I do understand what you're saying. It's interesting. I don't know. That was the packaging that I enjoyed the most. But I can see where people had problems with it, trying to buy it in store. They got different figures, or they got different parts, or whatever. It is a pain in the neck. I know definitely for Marvel Legends, it was a big pain in the neck. Hello, Goku. You're new into the chat. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. Damn nice. Yeah, cool. So this one's very vintage inspired. You can tell by the vintage one. Very, very vintage inspired. And again, though, the color is a little subdued. The colors are a little subdued. Again, the camouflage is a definitely dark camouflage, and the jacket is a little bit darker as well. So they're continuing with that darker color palette and the more subdued colors in this, but it is very similar. It is very similar. I like the fact that they gave him that fuzzy collar there, like a lot of the old bomber jackets had back in the day. So I think that's a really cool add-on to this figure, this character. He's got a lot of secondaries on here added on. You can see he's got like the gray shirt underneath there. He's got the holster secondary that was on the vintage one. He's also got the secondary on the right leg and the waist there. So he's got two different holsters. He's got a couple of little paint decos there with the paint, the buckle there, and a second buckle there. He's got all of his ranks, some deco on his jacket, gold and silver, and then up here you have all of his general ranks and stuff like that in deco, different color deco there as well. And then he also has some ranks on his collars, his collar underneath there. You can barely see it with the lighting in here, but there is some deco on the collar with that as well. So there's a lot of deco hits on this. And as they showed the call outs on the package, he has several tampos on his jacket. He's got the US flag, the United States flag right there, and then he has the Joe Team logo there. So those two tampos are on either side of his jacket. And like I mentioned before, he's got a little bit of gray colored deco in the hair there on all sides. It's not as prominent as it showed on the package. It's a little bit less on the figure. I like the fact that they gave him the knee pads on here to make it more tactical looking. And the boots are really cool. There's a lot of detail in those boots on this figure. I think they do a really good job with the details in a lot of these figures and the added layering and stuff like that. Let's see. I hope when they do a retro card back General Hawk with gloveless hands and a boot knife. You never know. I don't know what they're really doing with that. The vintage package is kind of all over the map. With the last three figures we got, I was a little surprised by that wave of three figures because it's like all over the place with vintage package figures. So I don't know if they'll do another Hawk. Maybe we'll get version 3 Hawk. But I don't know if we're going to get this Hawk again. It's pretty close to vintage. So I don't see them re-releasing this, but who knows? Hasbro's doing a lot of odd things recently, so I don't know. You never know. Maybe if they do a vehicle and they add another Hawk, maybe they'll put another version of this Hawk. You never know. You just don't know with Hasbro these days. But I love this bomber jacket. I love how it's got all the pockets and stuff like that. There's the zippers for the pockets, then the pouches down here for the pockets. So this is a really, really nice figure overall from what I can see. And I can see you didn't like the black gloves on there, Lego Star Wars kid. I guess, maybe they should have gave him a second set of hands, maybe, and non-gloved hands possibly, if they went to the trouble of doing all this, because this is basically 100% maybe new mold. Maybe the legs might be a little bit reused, maybe the boots might be, but most of this is a all new mold. So I don't know. So he's got all the main articulation points. He's got the butterfly shoulder articulation. He's got the double pin elbows, double pin knees. He's got the foot rockers. He's got the second ankle rockers. He's got the wrist articulation. He's got the thigh and calf articulation. He's got the crotch and leg articulation. He does have the ab crunch with the jacket, the bomber jacket. So he still has that. He's got the new head rocker articulation. So it's pretty full of articulation. Oh, also the retro card came with an alternate blonde head. There you go. Because in the comics, he was still kind of blonde, I think, if I'm not mistaken. This version 2 in the comics was still blonde. So they did a retro version. You could get that extra head and those extra accessories and different hands and things like that. So that would differentiate it a few different points from this version. So I can see maybe them doing another one with all that included. Lego Star Wars Kid. Yeah, but it's definitely a very good figure. Um, so let's get into some of his accessories. We'll see if I can get him to stand. Yeah, he stands pretty good. Nope, he fell. I have to balance him a little bit better. There. Oh, now my vintage one fell. Get back up there. There. All right, so let's get into his accessories. Um, so we got the G.I. Joe Cobra package again. We have the Indicia Lego Gobbledygook. And then the weapons crate, we'll put that back over there. See, open this up. Okay. So he comes with a lot of stuff. Okay. Get everything out of there. All right, first off, we're going to give him his helmet. This cool helmet. That was one of the things of the vintage one that I really liked was his helmet. And this one, there's a little bit of a gold rank, general rank on the helmet there. You can see. Can I show Godzilla's? Let's see if you can see Godzilla up there. There, you see Godzilla way up there, Clement? That's my Shogun Godzilla up there in the corner. There you go. Just for you, Clement. So we're going to put this on there. That's kind of loose. That helmet's a little loose, whereas the vintage one is very tight. This is a little loose. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that or not. It does have the straps on there. It does have the chevron of the rank, and it has like some detail on it. But I don't know. I may not use that helmet. I like it on the vintage one. It looks really cool, but I may not use it on the classified one. So then we have two revolvers. We have two different revolvers. We have this one. And then we have this one. So we've got two different spots. So I'm going to put the longer one. This one's a little longer. I'm going to put that one in this holster here. One. I'm going to put the smaller one in his holster on his chest. There. Like that. He also comes with two sets of goggles for his helmet. And since I'm not going to be using his helmet probably, I'll see if I can get one of these goggles to go on the helmet. And hopefully it'll stay on there. I have a hard time with the goggles on a lot of these figures. They never want to stay. But I'm going to try to get the goggles on there. All right, I got a set of goggles on the helmet. There. There. So now if I put that on his head, I want to see if it holds a little bit tighter. Yeah, it's a little bit tighter this time than it was the last time. So I guess it's not as bad as it was. So there, that looks better with the goggles on it than it did previously. So then he has two shotguns. He's got this shotgun here, which has a little bit of detail, but it's more of an old-fashioned rifle type shotgun. Looks like a rifle. And then he has this big, like, cannon type gun here. That's really cool. There's lots of detail on that. Looks really good. So that's probably, I think I'm just going to put that one in his arms, his hands, and put the rest of them away. Normally when you see him, he's got his one of his revolvers that he uses in the field. You can see him in the artwork using a revolver. But I'm going to give him this gun here and make it a little bit more gung-ho looking. There. What do you guys think of that? He looks really good overall. I think this is an excellent figure. I like the change in the boots. They gave him the high boots on this one, whereas the vintage one, he had very short boots. You can see very short, but these ones are high boots because he's an old-fashioned type army guy. So there's your Hawk, your classified 103 figure. I think overall, it's a really nice upgrade from the vintage. The color differences and a lot of the added deco hits, and a little bit updating of the uniform and stuff with the boots and the gloves and things. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. But overall, I think they captured the vintage one pretty good with this. But we'll see if we get another Hawk. There are other Hawks in the line. We'll see if we get a really funny space Hawk. You said you can't see anything. You can't see everything? What do you mean you can't see everything? Are you talking about Godzilla? Godzilla's right there. He's up in the, if you're looking at this way, it would be on the left top corner there, Clement. You can see my Godzilla up there. That's the only Godzilla I'm going to show in this video. All my other Godzillas are put away. So that's the only Godzilla I'm going to show you in this video, okay? So we got 104 coming, and it is almost a completely brand new mold with a new character, and it's going to be a female character, and she is going to be more of a modern character. This is a pretty much a perfect rendition of Hawk. I would like to see either a talking battle commander versus Valor versus Venom Hawk. Yeah, there's a lot of different Hawks in the line. I would like to get Venomous Maximus, which is, spoiler, that's Hawk as well. But yeah, I think Valor vs. Venom Hawk is really good. I like version 3 Hawk. I like a lot. The Battle Commander Hawk is okay. He's kind of like version 3 Hawk, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken, or is he different? Michael Gene Fleming. My memory is a little bit off right now, so I can't think of what that really looks like. Oh yeah, see, I was asking you guys if that was like that again, if there was two streams, but so it's still doing that from the last video, so it's still doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. It's doing two streams for some reason, so I just don't understand it. I'm trying to fix that, so I apologize for that if that's the case. That's not something I'm doing intentionally, so I have to go into StreamYard and fix that and get that straightened out. Thank you for letting me know again, Michael Gene Fleming, because I don't know why it's doing that. So yeah, Clement, go to the vertical stream and not the lengthwise stream. So hopefully you'll be able to see better, and then you can go back and watch when I show the Godzillas that way. All right. I apologize for that. Something funny is going on with StreamYard, and I have to fix that. So thanks for letting me know, Michael Gene Fleming. So, like I said, we got number 104 coming up next. It's a new character, kind of character that's from the modern era, and it's a female character. So it's going to be very interesting. I have a lot of stuff to talk about that character because where that origin of that character is going to be interesting. And I think that is going to do it. I don't have anything else going on. We're still going to do that comparison HasLab classified and vintage vehicle video coming up soon. I'm trying to get all my stuff together and figure out the best way to showcase all those vehicles with that video. It'll be in another room that'll have a lot more lighting, so you guys will be able to see the differences and stuff like that. So look forward to that video coming up soon. And then if you guys have an opportunity and you can go to Des Moines, Iowa for Assembly Required, codename Iowa, please do so. It's a wonderful show. Thank you again, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for commenting, contributing, and getting involved with us, with my channel. And thank you, everybody, after the fact, watching on the replay crew, hashtag replay crew, and commenting and getting involved there as well. It helps the channel grow, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow the channel to a nice, comfortable level. And so sharing these videos is very important at this point, if you're able to. Take care, Lego Star Wars Kid. Thank you. And so sharing these videos is very important at the moment, right now, and getting more people involved to help us out. So thank you again, and I appreciate it. And this is a really big G.I. Joe video, so we're going to go with Yo Joe.